Bull riding guarantees only one thing.
Another member of Team USA in a week there to help him. Oh!
No mercy.
Shoot clock, here we go.
Just man versus 2,000 pounds of pure fury. These are the 10 wrecks that shook the arena and tested the toughest riders alive. Let's start with JB Mooney. Hills Tested launched him sky high and reminded everyone that even legends fall. JB Mooney was the kind of rider who made bulls look easy, tough, calm, confident. A man who could handle anything with horns. He'd faced Hills Tested before, knew how the bull bucked, thought he could read his every move. But that day in Billings, Tested had other plans. The gate flew open, and that bull came out like a stick of dynamite.
The only man to ride this bull, 22 straight buck-offs.
One jump, 2 spins, and Mooney was gone. Launched clean into the air. The hit was so violent, it looked like gravity gave up on him for a second.
Met.
Just way behind from the get-go, and he's not going to let go.
The crowd saw it, felt it, and went silent as he hit the dirt, hard. No slow fall, no stumble, just lights out. Even legends get humbled sometimes. In that arena, the bull always calls the shots. But Mooney wasn't done. He got up slow, shook it off, and walked out like a man who's been there before. Then there's Amelio Renda. One brutal stomp from Detailer ended the fight before it began. Amelio Renda looked sharp that night in Fresno, confident, focused. But when Detailer came out of the gate, it turned from competition to carnage in seconds. The bull kicked, spun, and then stomped right on Resenda's shoulder and head. The crowd gasped as his body hit the ground, limp. Detailer didn't just throw him off, he crushed him. The arena went dead quiet, the kind of silence that follows real fear.
If he's moving those legs good, but he just lands right on the side of his shoulder and inside of his head.
Medics sprinted in while the bullfighters waved for space. It was quick, savage, and heavy, and every stomp echoing through the dirt. Renda lay there motionless, paying the price of one bad shift in balance. Because bulls don't wait for mistakes, they punish at all costs. Up next, Devin Wright. Mr. Smooth twisted, slammed, and showed there's nothing smooth about pain. Devin Wright must have thought he'd scored an easy one when he drew Mr. Smooth. With a name like that, who wouldn't? But this bull came out angry, all muscle and bad intentions. From the second the chute opened, Wright was under attack.
I want you to help him one more time.
Mr. Smooth twisted, slammed, and snapped like he wanted to send a message. Every hit looked worse than the one before. Wright tried to hang on, but there was no rhythm, no chance to recover.
Wow!
The bullfighters rushed in, but the punishment was already done. The crowd could only watch as Wright took hit after hit, the kind that makes your ribs ache just seeing it. When it was over, even the seasoned riders winced. Mr. Smooth proved one thing that night: names lie, bulls don't. If you thought it couldn't get worse, watch Neil Holmes face open season, a moment that redefined pain. Neil Holmes thought he had this one under control. He jumped off early, a move riders make when the bull's done just to stay safe. But open season wasn't finished showing its power.
Let's go, man.
As Holmes hit the dirt, the bull twisted, reared up, and brought down a full 2,000 pounds right on him. The crowd gasped. You could almost feel the weight of that impact through the screen. 1 second, Holmes was standing tall. The next, he was folded under a bull that didn't care where he landed.
I think tough, obviously, is describing that, but lucky too, man. That sometimes they're...
Bullfighters rushed in fast, kicking up dust, trying to get that monster away. It was one of those wrecks that make you realize how fast things can turn. Even when you think you're safe, you're still in the danger zone. Next up, Dakota Beck. South Point dragged him through hell before the bullfighters pulled him back. Dakota Beck looked ready for glory when he climbed on South Point under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. The crowd roared, the gate opened, and it all looked good until it didn't. Beck got bucked off hard, and before he could react, his hand got trapped tight in the rope.
Dakota Beck trying to get out.
That's every rider's worst nightmare. The bull spun fast, dragging him across the arena like a rag doll, kicking up dust with every turn. You could see the panic in Beck's eyes. He couldn't move, couldn't break free.
He's really needing to get to his feet right here. Watch Frank step in here, grab the tail of this rope, and pull.
The bullfighters moved in quickly, pulling the rope loose, saving him from worse damage. But the wreck stayed with him long after. He later said he had nightmares for months. That helpless feeling never leaves. Then there's Aaron Williams, trapped, whipped, nearly broken by Chuck's Delight in a nightmare that wouldn't end. Aaron Williams stepped into that arena with confidence. Finals night. He'd worked his whole season for that moment, but Chuck's Delight was a nightmare in motion. The gate swung open and the bull spun hard, faster than anything Williams had faced. Within seconds, his hand was trapped tightly in the rope.
Clock, here we go.
He couldn't break free. The bull whipped him around again and again, body bouncing off the dirt. The crowd fell silent. His parents watched from the stands, helpless. The bullfighters fought to save him every second, feeling like forever.
Here in go round number 1 of the Velocity Tour Finals. Again, brought to you by Pendleton Whiskey. And PBR fans, we invite you to keep up with the act.
When it was finally over, Williams lay still before raising a hand to show he was alive. Later, he said, "I thought I was done. But I'm not built to quit. That's not just courage, that's pure cowboy soul." Up next, Chase Outlaw. Night sweats turned the ride into a midair explosion and left silence in its wake. Chase Outlaw isn't a name you forget, and neither is what happened that night in Oklahoma City. Outlaw was dialed in, ready to go, but Night Sweats had different plans. The bull blew out of the gate like a cannon, and within seconds, Outlaw was airborne. He didn't fall. He flew
Day in a week there to help him.
The PBR later said it looked like he'd been thrown like a 150-pound frisbee. The impact when he hit the dirt made the crowd gasp.
Bull's got some stuff to him right around the corner, and Outlaw, a guy that's kind of nursing a sore neck from a week ago.
It was one of those wrecks that freezes everyone. But this is the same man who later shattered his face and still came back to ride again. That's not luck, that's grit carved in bone. Then there's Jess Lockwood, caught, crushed, and forced to face what fear really feels like. Jess Lockwood was still young, full of fire, and hungry for glory when he climbed onto Woody. He'd been rising fast, winning rounds and hearts, but this bull was something else. From the second the chute cracked open, Woody came out wild, spinning, twisting, kicking like a storm on hooves. You could tell right away, this wasn't a normal ride.
Of a brand new superstar career.
Lockwood fought to stay centered, but his hand got tangled tight in the rope. That's when things went from bad to terrifying. Every spin dragged him, every kick slammed into his body.
Here we go.
The bullfighters sprinted in, but seconds felt like minutes. Later, Lockwood said he truly thought it was over. You could see it in his face. That kind of fear sticks with a man. That day, he learned just how thin the line is between chasing glory and fighting for survival. Coming up next, Mike Lee. Stinger's double shot hit like thunder and crushed him hard. Mike Lee's been in the game long enough to take a hit, but when he drew Stinger, the whole arena felt it. The bull blasted out of the chute like a grenade, throwing Lee off balance in seconds. Before anyone could blink, Stinger twisted and stomped both hind legs square onto Lee's chest. The sound was sharp, heavy, a bone-deep thud that echoed through the stands. People flinched. Even the announcers paused mid-sentence, too stunned to talk. Lee lay still for a second, the air knocked out of him, the crowd holding its breath.
Oh, take a look from this angle. You know, that bull there weighs 1,800 pounds dead easily.
He eventually moved, proving again why cowboys are built different. But that stomp left a mark, both on his body and on everyone who saw it. Finally, Guilherme Marchi, a brutal hit that proved even legends can get their lights knocked out. Guilherme Marchi, calm, precise, and fearless. A Brazilian bull riding legend, but on that night in Boise, none of that mattered. Midnight Mood came out wild, mean, and unpredictable. The first hit caught Marchi clean in the head, dazing him.
Able to just hang it in there.
The second hit, brutal, straight to the chin, knocking him out cold. The crowd froze as he hit the dirt. Limp, no helmet, no defense, just raw impact. Blood dripped down his chin as medics rushed in. He woke up later with stitches and a concussion, lucky to be alive. But when he spoke afterward, there wasn't a hint of fear in his voice. "You realize how fragile we really are," he said, "but you can't let fear win. That's the kind of courage only bull riders understand. The kind that walks back to the chute after being knocked out by 2,000 pounds of fury.